Now, rather than to go on talking about what interests me, I'd sooner turn to you, and if you have any particular questions, especially about publications, I'd be happy to talk to those matters. You can raise a question if you want. Yes?
Where were the large bodies of waters if they did not go up into the western country?
Well, my view is that they were very, sorry, the question was, where were the large bodies of water referred to in the Book of Mormon, and I guess it's in Helaman, where travelers from the Nephites went to. If you track all the geography down, it turns out that that probably is not very far from the Hill Cumorah. That is to say, the original Hill Cumorah, where the battle was. And in my view, this is in central Veracruz. It's where one of the major drainages of the area meets, would like to get to the ocean but can't quite make it. And it ponds, and that's the extensive waters. I could be wrong. I'm willing to wait for Mormon to make that clearer when I talk to him. He'll make it all clear. We'll wonder why it took us so long to get around to understanding. Are there other questions? Yes.
I've been reading a couple of Nibley books, one Since Cumorah and one Another Approach to the Book of Mormon, and they were written a long time ago. I wonder what's been added to that body of thought since, and how up to date they might be in there.
Where did Brother Nibley get to before he passed?
I'm not sure how to answer that. Body of thought, results, what did he get to? Indeed. He got some very interesting points, but these were mostly taken from old world sources. To be very frank, in terms of the New World, he didn't know anything. He was completely mistaken at one point in his life, where he thought Jaredites went all over North America and so on. Nothing to that at all. It does not fit the book. He was not into careful enough study, as he was in the Old World.
Toward the end, he moved a little.
Yes, he moved.
A little.
He moved considerably. Yeah, he thought it was a very hard thing to make a correlation with the geographical area in the New World, and he didn't seem to feel satisfied with anything. He did tell me personally, shortly before he died, that the other book I have completed, the Images of Ancient America, the picture book, he says, John, that's the best book ever written on the Book of Mormon, which is one of his usual exaggerations, of course. Yes?
Can you give us an update on magnetic versus relative compass points that they relate to north, south in the Book of Mormon?
Well, I don't know. The question was, can I give you an update about the directions? I don't know that there's any reason for us to think that there was a knowledge of magnetism, of earth magnetism among the Nephites, and that had any influence at all on their sense of direction. There are some fragmentary materials from Mesoamerica that suggest that they did have some kind of a knowledge of magnetism. There are some changes in direction that seem to go along with the changes in earth magnetism, but it's very poorly known, and I don't know enough, neither does anyone else, to say anything useful about it. But directions are always cultural things. We somehow have the idea that our east, north, west, south are fixed directions and that everybody in the world should know them. That is simply not the way the world's cultures have worked. There are thousands of cultures and there are thousands of systems of directions. Some people have 5 directions. Some people have 3 directions. Some have 3 or 4 systems of directions. You use one sometimes when you're talking about one subject, and you may have a different set of references when you're talking about something else. So every system is a learned system. Somebody, maybe the experience of a people, worked up a knowledge of and came to an agreement, we'll call this east or west or something or other. And it may be different than anyone else's, any other people's. So one has to suppose that when the Nephites arrived, they had in mind the same directions as the Israelites did in Palestine. But I think it's probably about in the 10th chapter of Mosiah, sometime before there's any indication of directions, except general, vague, northward. There are more expressions about northward than about north. Now those two mean something different. What exactly they mean, we are not in a position to figure out. So I can't add much. One of my pieces is back here. It's called the Geography of Book of Mormon Events. It's a large light-colored paperback, that thick. Has an appendix in it that talks all about directions. And I still don't know any more than I did when I wrote that. So, yes.
Earlier you mentioned that there were some details that were very weird and strange that Joseph Smith couldn't have known about. I was wondering if you could give an example or two.
This is like a question I'm asked, what's the best archaeological evidence you know of for the Book of Mormon? And that's like saying, which of the trees in the grove out here at the motion picture studio is your favorite? They're all nice trees. I can't pick out any. I can mention some, yes,
Yeah.
but they'd be completely random.
That's all I wanted, something random, that's fine.
Should I give you one?
Sure.
Just take the sons of, sons in quotes, sons of Ammon, the 2,000 young warriors. Why are they called sons when they obviously weren't sons? But in Mesoamerica, a military commander had the privilege of addressing his troops as sons, and they called him father. And that's something I think that nobody with a grandfather in the Revolutionary War would have thought about.